Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Well, today we've had mid to late spring mode around here. We've had the unseasonably warm temperatures. We've also had scattered showers, and there's a chance that tonight we could have a shower or storm out there. That chance for rain. That's one of the next big things that we're talking about. We have a front that's moving in, and we're kind of in a battleground between that front and high pressure off to our south, and that's why we get these systems. They move in, they kind of stall out, so we remain in kind of a soupy setup. We get some scattered areas of rain. Let me show you what we expect here for tonight. And you can see that a lot of the wet weather, at least for now, it's settled down a little bit, but you can kind of tell where we're getting that axis of showers that's developing to the south and east. But there could be some more development here off to the north and even West Alabama. I can't rule out a pop-up tonight in this setup that we're in. But the good news is it's very isolated, localized. So we are catching some breaks at the moment, some opportunities to get out there and enjoy some of these warmer conditions. Very warm for this time of the year. Record levels in Tuscaloosa today. We got up to around 84 there, and we're still waiting on the official numbers to come in, but I know at one point we had 84 with a feels-like temperature of 88 degrees, and the record high for Tuscaloosa is 83 for this date. Hourly forecast shows that chance for scattered showers and, yes, possibly a storm. I know we don't see a lot happening there, but with this stalled front nearby, you can't rule out a storm popping up or a shower overnight. And then tomorrow, again, that chance will continue. 70-degree temperatures. And as we look ahead, actually, this is for our Friday. You can see that the rain chances start to go up. And notice the wind shifts tomorrow out of the north direction, so that cooler air flows in. Looks like 59 there around 9 o'clock. Look, coming off of a day, highs in the 80s out there today. That is a big drop in temperatures, especially for areas to the north. So you'll need the jacket. Hamilton, we may stay in the mid-50s for highs tomorrow afternoon. Major turnaround from today, but it's a brief cool down. It's not going to last long. It's going to impact us mostly within the next 24 hours to 48 hours. This weekend, though, we start to warm up again. You can see here for our Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures back in the 70s. A few showers on Saturday. By no means a washout if you have plans on Saturday, and then for Sunday it looks like maybe a few isolated showers. Again, looking at those First Alert weather headlines, plan for scattered showers tonight, more showers tomorrow, especially north. It's going to be a colder day or cooler depending on where you are. To the north, 50s, further south, not too bad. Places like Clanton will still see 70s, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston 60s, showers on Saturday, and then rain and storms on Monday, and a very windy setup on the way Monday. We're still watching Monday, some question marks there. Totally wouldn't surprise me. You check in with us over the next few days. I can't rule out maybe a strong to severe storm Monday. We're talking about winds gusting over 30 miles per hour. So like yesterday, it was a very windy day. We'll probably see some more wind advisories to start off next week. But some fast changes in our weather over the next 5 to 7 days. We're going to have more on that extended forecast coming up. Really looks interesting towards the end of next week, and we'll dive into that here coming up as well. And we're going to check in with the Hurricane Creek Keeper, and we're also watching that rain and storm chance Monday and talking about this spring-like weather, how that's impacted the drought monitor. More after this.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
got plans for this weekend. We have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. For an organization called the Creek Keepers, say that 5 times fast, the Creek Keepers, keeping tabs on the health of our rivers and creeks is a full-time year-round job. One of those longtime creek keepers is John Wathen. Tonight, Fred Hunter talks with John about the importance and lore of Hurricane Creek.
Welcome to another absolutely Alabama Weather Extra on what has certainly been an extraordinarily wet winter so far. And so we thought we'd bring in the creek keeper from Hurricane Creek, my friend of 20 plus years, I guess, John Wathen. He's a friend, he's a neighbor, and he is the creek keeper for Hurricane Creek. I say that the way I said it because I can't say Hurricane Creek keeper. There, I said it one time. Don't ask me to repeat it, John. But John explained to us exactly where Hurricane Creek is located and kind of the relative importance. You say, well, it's a creek, but it's a little more than that as far as the people in Tuscaloosa County.
Yes, it is, Fred. Hurricane Creek is it starts up around the Mercedes-Benz plant in Vance and runs down through Brookwood, Holt. Another segment of it comes out of the Vance coaling area and then runs down to the Holt Lock and Dam where it enters the Warrior River. It's about 26 miles long. Hurricane Creek is the southernmost free-flowing stream in the Appalachian mountain chain. When you go to the University of Alabama, you're in the upper coastal plain there. Here in this part of Holt, you're actually in the Appalachian mountain chain. It's that fast a transition. So it has one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. According to Dr. E.O. Wilson, you have to go all the way around the world to the Tibetan Plateau to find an ecosystem as diverse as we have here in the temperate zone. So it's a very special place, and it's worth protecting.
And you are the official creek keeper, so explain to us exactly the function, because there are creek keepers all over. You're officially the Hurricane Creek keeper. So explain to us what a creek keeper's responsibilities are, because I know there are a lot of them.
Okay, the name Creek Keeper is my title, it's my job title. It's a subcategory of the Waterkeeper Alliance. We're an international federation of water groups like the Friends of Hurricane Creek all around the world that believe every citizen has a right to clean water. My job is to patrol the watershed, especially after rain events, and look for pollution sources, things that are causing adverse impacts to the watershed, things that could actually be health and safety issues for people using the watershed. When I find these sources, we try to deal with it. We try to at least get the polluter or the person responsible to change their way of doing business. A lot of times they don't know the impact that they're creating. So it's not always, some contractor somewhere causing all this problem. As the advocate for the watershed, if I can't reason with people, then we have to go to the next level. We have to take it to the state level and file complaints with Alabama Department of Environmental Management. Whatever it takes, my prime responsibility is to see that this watershed isn't degraded. In fact, it's in better shape than it's been right now in 20 years because of our advocacy. The Hurricane Creek Keeper is probably one of the smallest watersheds in all of the Waterkeeper Alliance. But we've set precedent that the rest of the country has used. When I first came to Hurricane Creek back in the 70s, it was biologically dead by some description. Some scientists on the university campus actually signed documents saying that there was no life in this creek. That wasn't necessarily true. There was a lot of waste being introduced into the creek. A lot of it came from pre-law coal mining. A lot of it came from irresponsible development. Over a period of 30 years, we found these sources. We know where they're coming from and what to do to deal with them. And the creek is healthier now than it has been in the last 30 years. We have fish. We have fish in large numbers. Our macroinvertebrates are back. Even some of our vegetation in the creek is coming back. The sediment bars are beginning to migrate downstream and out of the creek, exposing more of the ancient rock bottom, which is the way it should be. So, yeah, over the years, we've really had an impact in turning around the aesthetics of the watershed, but also the health of the watershed.
And John, this has not been without challenges, and that's not all human-made. I recall visiting with you over on the creek after, of course, the tremendous tornado, which literally came right over your house, and I've seen video of that. I'm talking about the April 27th tornado, and there was all kinds of debris and trees down in the creek, and I believe you told me that not a single one of those trees that fell in the creek wound up at a landfill, and that was because of your efforts. You came in and literally built a sawmill, and you and the Friends of Hurricane Creek cleaned that creek out and chopped up the wood, and I was the beneficiary in that you gave me a lot of good mulch for my flower beds. So there are all kinds of benefits, not just to the animals, not just to the flora, but also to the people. And one other bonus, and I have to get you to repeat this. You said because basically the hillside and all was just denuded after the storm, you said you were able to literally do something that not a lot of people get to do, and that was literally watch a forest come back to life. I know that's been one of the great rewards of what you've done.
Fred, that has been absolutely amazing. Right after the storm, literally, there was no grass on the ground in the path of that tornado. It took down every old growth tree we had. It took down a lot of the new growth. It was devastating. And over time, on our property anyway, we didn't use any of the big yellow machines to clean it up. We took our time and removed the woody debris using smaller equipment and just putting it to better use. Now, in the fall, it looks like the same old growth colors. It's just closer to the ground.
Well, John, I want to leave this on something of a humorous and personal note, if we can. Lauren Linehan and I, Lauren, of course, is one of our other meteorologists here. She and I were riding in the Tuscaloosa Christmas Parade together, and she picked me up at my house over there in East Tuscaloosa County, and we're driving back, and Lauren sees the sign that says Hurricane Creek Road. She said, "How did that sign get here?" I said, "I have a friend named John Wathen who can explain the derivation of hurricane, and why it's called Hurricane Creek." Us whippersnappers have been the ones that's been mispronouncing it all these years. It is Hurricane Creek. Explain why Hurricane Creek is called Hurricane Creek several hundred miles from where hurricanes hit.
Well, Fred, I've never been able to find a written account of how the creek got its name. There's several different stories about it. When it rains a lot, the creek gets up, and it does. It gets high. It roars.
Right.
It makes a loud, striking noise. Some people say sounds like a hurricane, and that may have been where it got its name. Another story was some soldiers returning from the war. I don't know which war, but there was a massive storm, and they took shelter inside a creek on the Black Warrior River that didn't have a name, and when they left, they called it the Hurricane Creek.
Right.
That's another story. An old creek elder told me a story that I like to believe. This is my story, I believe.
This is my story too, John. I'm glad you're telling this part of the story.
There is a species of cane that grows along the creek banks here. It looks a lot like bamboo, but it's really, really small, and it doesn't get much bigger around than your finger. It's not like bamboo you can go fishing with or build furniture. This is it's actually a grass. The Creek Indians, Muskogans, had a word for it that most white people could not pronounce, which is true of most of the words in their dialect, in their language.
Right.
But they said it grew so prolific along the creek banks that it looked like the hair on a man's body, and it was hair cane in their language. Americans or Europeans coming here could not pronounce the word, and it got loosely translated down to hairkin and later hurricane. But if you go speak to the elders out here in this community in Holt, Alabama, and you ask them, what's the name of that creek? They'll tell you it's Hairkin Creek.
That's the way I've heard it pronounced. And I just thought they were saying it wrong. John, I could talk with you all day, man, and promise me that we're going to visit again. You'll bring us updates on the creek and on other things, because there are other environmental issues with which you are involved. So can we visit with you again?
Absolutely.
All right. My friend John Walton, the Hurricane Creek Keeper on Hurricane Creek. Full disclosure, John's also my neighbor.
Thanks for that tidbit, Fred. And thank you so much, John. We love to see someone passionate about taking care of the environment and, of course, figuring out how Hurricane Creek came to be. Coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, we check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt for a look at the 7-day forecast, and I'll take you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and you don't have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Well, let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in 1 day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now, and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt here with a look at the next 24 hours. And tomorrow morning, starting off the day, it's going to feel cooler out there. We'll have a north wind as we kick the day off. We've had a south wind, some milder temperatures, but winds shifting around. That cooler air spills in temporarily during the day. Probably won't break out in the mid-50s in areas to the north. Not too bad areas further south, but quite a temperature discontinuity here across the state tomorrow. And that's where we'll see this axis of showers kind of setting up along a stalled front. And you can see the general motion there west to east if you're tracking along with us on the First Alert Weather app. Can't totally rule out a thunderstorm for tomorrow, but not seeing an organized risk for severe weather. You can see to the south, actually not a bad day. The rain's a bit more hit or miss in those areas there further to the south. Looking ahead to our Saturday, still can't rule out some showers. Temperatures for our Saturday rising into the 70s, so we will see a nice little rebound in those temperatures over the weekend. But Saturday looks like the day where we could see more showers. I wouldn't cancel any big plans you have. Wet weather is going to be still very hit or miss this weekend. We'll have plenty of opportunities to get out there and enjoy some of the nice weather. Looking at Sunday, this is a look at the future wind gusts. You can see it not quite as windy there on Sunday, but I want to point out Monday because that's when we're going to see a more significant push of drier air move in, and those winds could gust over 30 miles per hour. We have some data was showing wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, and typically you're looking at about 30 plus miles per hour. Some of the global data sometimes it doesn't really quite factor in those surface influences on the wind speeds, so they tend to overestimate just a bit. But I was still planning for winds gusting over 30 miles per hour, and the possibility of rain and storms on Monday again. It's not a home run as far as, or I should say a slam dunk as far as all the ingredients lining up for severe weather on Monday, but we do see some of the ingredients that check off some of the boxes. So Monday's the day we're watching. Possibility that we could see some strong storms. Check in with us over the next few days as we fine-tune that forecast. After that, you'll notice that it looks a little bit cooler, more stable, some sunshine, couple nice days on the way Tuesday and Wednesday, and then late next week it could be kind of interesting. We're tracking another larger, more dynamic system later next week that could bring some rain, possibly some storms, and maybe a more significant drop in temperatures. But as we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan, Lauren, you mentioned this the other day, and that's one of the things is that even though like tomorrow we're going to cool off, these drops in temperatures, they don't last long.
Yeah, Wes, I hate to say it. I know Morgan yesterday was saying, I just need to be winter still. I've still got some winter clothes I want to show off, but I'm telling you, we may need to be breaking out the flip-flops here as we head into March, because it still looks like the general pattern 6 to 10 days from now, with that subtropical ridge really having a stronghold along the Gulf Coast, supporting above average temperatures. So what does that translate to? Well, beyond the 7-day, still looking at a nice stretch with highs in the 70s, more above average temperatures versus not. Potentially going into next weekend, the first weekend of March, seeing a cool down, but we'll have to see how that pans out. So that first weekend of March, as we keep saying, don't do that spring planting just yet. There's still going to be a few frost freeze possibilities in the future. So it looks like maybe next weekend dealing with some freeze potential. Now, the question is, what about rainfall? Well, it looks fairly normal here across most of central Alabama. But if we take a quick peek at that futurecast, this is what Wes was talking about. Next Friday, March 3rd, we'll have to watch to see whether we could get any severe weather out of a system, or if it gets cold enough, if somewhere across the U.S. or into the mid-south could see anything the way of wintry precipitation. Now, that's just one model run. This will likely change, but it's definitely a very dynamic system that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Otherwise, going into the first weekend of March, looking fairly dry with just some passing clouds. But as we go into that first full week of March, we're not seeing much in the way of any storm systems just yet. But coming up, we'll check back in with Matt and Mickey for an update on the drought monitor. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know Weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
We're looking at a pretty crazy month, right? In February, it's been very warm, it's been very wet. Sometimes you're not even sure if it's February, if it's like April.
It's like spring has come early this year for some reason.
It really has. And yeah, we've been looking at those rainfall totals recently. We've had a good amount of rainfall. Just want to show you those monthly averages. And, you know, March actually is one of our wettest months, so that's where we're going. So something to look forward to, right?
But so far in February, we received 3.5 inches of rainfall, so we're on track to have a pretty wet year so far. Average rainfall in February, you can see here on screen. Matt?
That's right, about 5 inches for most areas, and as you were just showing, Birmingham's recorded almost 3.5 inches of rainfall, so we could add up another inch or so before the month's over and get close to average. Tuscaloosa's been very wet, over 5 inches of rainfall and almost 4.5 inches of rain has been recorded in Anniston. So I would say by the end of this month, we're pretty much close to that, if not above that, especially for maybe Tuscaloosa or even Anniston.
This is one of the wettest winters I remember, and the stormiest so far too. Here's a look at some of the 5-day rainfall totals, and we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of heavy rainfall, thankfully, but this is just showing estimated rainfall totals over the past 5 days. Some spots not much, others a little bit. So when you start seeing those brighter blues and greens, we're talking about maybe about 1.25 inch of rainfall. So almost 1/4 inch in Hamilton over the past 5 days. We saw a little bit in southern parts of Lamar, in Fayette, northern Tuscaloosa from the past couple of days, almost 1/2 inch of rainfall there and in around Birmingham. And then farther south, just not a lot of it, but yeah, it's all about the warm temperatures for the past couple of days.
Well, the good thing is we don't have any drought going on in our area for a change. Down into far southeast Alabama, down towards Dothan in Houston County, they're experiencing a little bit of that, but back through Kansas, midsections of the country, really under a drought. But man, that's nice to see.
Yeah, and just zooming in, there's absolutely no drought.
Zippo.
So, you know, earlier this past fall, we were really worrying about drought concerns, but over this winter, it's been very wet. So that's a look at the latest drought monitor that just came out this morning. Of course, more rain is likely on the way as we go into tomorrow, into the weekend, and even going into, I was about to say, going into March, looks like it's going to be very active.
We've got a system Monday and then another powerful system maybe at the end of next week.
I know, so it's just keeping us on our feet, and of course you can get the latest weather information through the WBRC First Alert Weather app.
I like the way he closed it out there.
Yeah, gotta always support the brand, right? So tonight, as we look at that Super 7-day forecast, I'll pull it up for you right here. We finally cool down just a touch for tomorrow, but then we warm right back up again over the weekend. Now, rain chances are on the rise, like Matt and Mickey said. No day looks to be a washout. We'll watch out for some storms next Monday and then next Thursday as well, but it looks like spring has almost sprung. We can tune in, or you can tune in tonight for Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt with an update on the 7-day. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Thursday. It's Thursday, Friday Eve. Have a good evening.